Learn English with Rose and Leo podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to Learn English with Rose and Leo. I'm Rose, and today we're tackling one of the most feared grammar topics in English, the present perfect continuous.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leo. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Oh, no, not another complicated tense. But here's the thing. It's actually not that complicated once you understand when and why we use it.
Exactly. And the best part, native speakers use this tense all the time in everyday conversation. So if you can master it, you'll sound much more natural.
So today, we're going to break it down in a really simple way. No confusing grammar jargon, just practical explanations and lots of examples.
Okay, Leo, let me start with a story. Last week, I walked into class and one of my students, Maria, looked exhausted. Her eyes were red, she was yawning constantly.
Rough night?
That's what I thought. So I asked her, Maria, are you okay? And she said, yes, I'm fine. I just studied very much last night.
Nah, the classic mistake. Grammatically close, but not quite right.
Exactly. So I said, do you mean you've been studying a lot? And she looked at me like I'd just spoken ancient Greek.
Because she didn't understand why she needed that particular tense.
Right. She knew the present perfect, I have studied. She knew the past simple, I studied last night. But the present perfect continuous, that was a mystery.
So let's demystify it. First, let's just say what it is. The present perfect continuous is formed with have been or has been plus the ing form of the verb.
So I have been studying, she has been working, they have been waiting. That's the structure.
Easy enough, right? The tricky part isn't making the tense, it's knowing when to use it.
Okay, so here's the key. We use the present perfect continuous when we want to emphasize the duration of an activity that started in the past and is still relevant now.
Let me break that down. 3 important parts. Duration, started in the past, still relevant now.
Right. So if I say, I've been learning English for 5 years, I'm emphasizing how long I've been doing this activity.
And the activity started 5 years ago, but it's still continuing or still relevant to the present moment.
Exactly. And compare that to, I learned English for 5 years. That sounds like you stopped. It's finished.
But I've been learning English for 5 years suggests you're still learning now.
Yes, and that's the crucial difference. The present perfect continuous connects the past to the present in a very specific way.
Let me give you a really common everyday example. Imagine you're waiting for a friend and they finally show up 20 minutes late.
Oh, this is perfect.
You might say, "Where have you been? I've been waiting for 20 minutes."
Not, I waited for 20 minutes. That sounds like you stopped waiting. But I've been waiting emphasizes the duration and the fact that you just finished waiting.
Exactly. And native speakers say this all the time. I've been waiting. I've been trying to call you. I've been looking everywhere for my keys.
Those are such natural everyday sentences, and they all use the present perfect continuous.
So here's a simple way to think about it. If you want to emphasize how long something has been happening, use the present perfect continuous.
Let me give you some more examples. I've been watching this TV series for 3 weeks. That tells you the duration.
She's been working at that company for 10 years. Again, emphasizing how long.
I've been living in this apartment since January. The duration is clear.
Now compare those to the regular present perfect. I've watched this TV series. That just tells you that you finished it.
She's worked at that company. Okay, but for how long? We don't know.
We've lived in this apartment. Again, missing that sense of ongoing duration.
So the continuous form really emphasizes that time element, how long something has been happening.
Here's another common use that I love. We use it to explain why something is happening now.
Oh, good point. Like, if you're sweating and someone asks why, you might say, I've been running.
Exactly. The running is finished, but it explains your current state. That's why you're sweaty now.
Or if your hands are covered in paint, you could say, I've been painting my bedroom.
The painting might be finished or just paused, but it explains why your hands look like that right now.
This is such a natural use of this tense. Native speakers do this constantly without even thinking about it.
Let me give you a classroom example. A student comes to class with red eyes. I might say, Have you been crying? I'm asking about a recent activity that explains their current appearance.
Or if someone's breath smells like coffee, you might ask, have you been drinking coffee? You're connecting their current state to a recent activity.
Yes, and this is why the present perfect continuous is actually really useful. It's not just some obscure grammar rule. It helps us communicate about the connection between past actions and present situations.
Okay, so we've covered two main uses. First, emphasizing duration. Second, explaining present situations based on recent activity.
There's actually a third use that's important. We use it for repeated actions over a period of time.
Give me an example.
I've been going to the gym 3 times a week. This shows a repeated action over a period of time that's still continuing.
Or, she's been calling me every day this week. Again, repeated action, ongoing.
They've been having problems with their internet lately. Same thing, repeated issues over a recent period.
And notice that word lately. That's a great clue word for this tense.
Oh, good point. There are certain time expressions that often go with the present perfect continuous.
Like lately, recently, for, since, all day, all week, all morning.
These words fit naturally with this tense because they emphasize that period of time we've been talking about.
I've been feeling tired lately. He's been acting strange recently. We've been working on this project for months.
All of these sound completely natural. You hear these kinds of sentences every day.
Okay, now let's talk about some common mistakes, because this is where students often get confused.
The biggest mistake I see is using the present perfect continuous with stative verbs.
Stative verbs, those are verbs that describe states, not actions. Things like know, like, love, understand, believe.
Right. You can't say, I've been knowing him for 5 years. That's wrong.
You have to say, I've known him for 5 years. Even though you want to show duration, stative verbs don't take the continuous form.
Same with love. You can't say, I've been loving this song. You say, I've loved this song.
Although, interestingly, some verbs can be both stative and active depending on the meaning.
Oh yeah, like think. I've been thinking about you is fine, because thinking is an active mental process.
But I've been thinking you are right is wrong. In that case, think means believe, which is stative.
English is fun, isn't it?
It's a delightful mess, but honestly, most of the time your instinct will tell you if a verb sounds wrong in the continuous form.
Another common mistake is overusing this tense. Students learn it and suddenly everything is, I've been doing this and I've been doing that.
Right, you don't always need the continuous form. Sometimes the simple present perfect is better.
Like if someone asks, have you done your homework? You wouldn't answer, yes, I've been doing it. That sounds like it's not finished.
You'd say, yes, I've done it. Simple and clear.
So the rule of thumb is, use the continuous when duration or ongoing action is important to your meaning. Otherwise, stick with the simple form.
Let me give you a comparison. I've read that book means you finished it.
I've been reading that book means you're still in the process of reading it, and maybe you want to emphasize how long you've been at it.
Both are correct, but they have slightly different meanings.
Context is everything. That's what students need to understand.
Okay, let's do some practice examples. I'll give you a situation and you tell me which tense to use.
I love this. Okay, go.
Situation 1. You started a new hobby in January. It's now June and you're still doing it. You want to tell someone about it.
I've been learning guitar since January. The continuous emphasizes the ongoing and duration.
Perfect. Situation 2. You finished reading a book last week. Someone asks if you've read it.
Yes, I've read it. Simple present perfect because it's a completed action.
Good. Situation 3. Your friend looks exhausted. You want to ask if they were working late.
Have you been working late? The continuous connects their current tired state to the recent activity.
Excellent. See, it's not that complicated when you think about the meaning, not just the grammar rule.
Exactly. Think about what you're trying to communicate. Are you emphasizing duration, explaining a present situation, talking about repeated recent actions.
If yes to any of those, the present perfect continuous is probably your friend.
Here's something that might help students. In many cases, you can use either the simple present perfect or the continuous, and both are correct.
The difference is subtle. It's more about emphasis than right or wrong.
Like, I've lived here for 5 years versus I've been living here for 5 years. Both are fine.
The continuous version slightly emphasizes the duration more, makes it feel more temporary, perhaps. But honestly, native speakers might use either.
So don't stress too much about always choosing the perfect form. Focus on being understood.
Although I will say, in some cases, the meaning does change significantly. I've painted the room means you finished it.
But I've been painting the room means you're not done yet, or you just finished and that's why you're covered in paint.
So sometimes the choice really matters for clarity.
Context usually makes it clear, though. If someone asks, "Is the room done?" and you say, "I've been painting it," they'll understand you're not finished.
True. Communication is about more than just grammar. It's about the whole context.
Okay, let's talk about questions for a minute. How do we form questions with this tense?
It's actually straightforward. You just invert the subject and have or has. Have you been studying? Has she been working?
And for information questions, you add the question word at the beginning. How long have you been waiting? What have you been doing?
These are super common questions in everyday English. What have you been up to? Is basically another way of saying, what's new? What have you been doing lately?
Oh, that's such a common greeting. Hey, what have you been up to? I ask people that all the time.
And the answer usually uses the same tense. Not much, just been working a lot. I've been pretty busy with school.
See? This is real conversational English. This is how people actually talk.
And once you start noticing this tense in real conversations, you'll realize it's everywhere.
Let me give you a challenge. For the next few days, pay attention to English content you consume. TV shows, podcasts, YouTube videos, whatever.
And count how many times you hear the present perfect continuous. I bet you'll be surprised.
You'll hear it constantly. I've been thinking, she's been saying, they've been trying. It's one of the most useful tenses in English.
And once you start using it yourself, your English will sound much more natural and fluent.
So here's my advice. Don't try to memorize a bunch of rules. Instead, learn some common phrases and practice them.
Things like, I've been meaning to. That's a great one. I've been meaning to call you. I've been meaning to watch that movie.
Or, I've been trying to. I've been trying to eat healthier. I've been trying to learn Spanish.
I've been working on. I've been working on a new project. I've been working on my pronunciation.
These are useful chunks of language that you can just plug different words into.
And that's how language learning really works. You learn patterns and phrases, not just individual grammar rules.
Exactly. Grammar is the skeleton, but these common phrases are the flesh and blood of real English.
Okay, let's do a quick summary. The present perfect continuous is have been or has been plus verb ing.
We use it to emphasize how long something has been happening.
To explain present situations based on recent activities.
And to talk about repeated actions over a recent period of time.
Common time expressions include for, since, lately, recently, all day, and so on.
Don't use it with stative verbs like know, love, or understand.
And remember, in many cases, both the simple and continuous forms are okay. Don't overthink it.
The key is to focus on what you're trying to communicate. Is duration important? Use the continuous.
And practice, practice, practice. Use it in conversation, even if it feels awkward at first.
Your homework this week. Try to use the present perfect continuous at least 3 times in real conversations.
Talk about something you've been doing lately, a hobby, a project, a problem you've been having.
And pay attention when native speakers use it. Notice when and why they choose this tense.
That active noticing will help you internalize the patterns much better than any textbook explanation.
Perfect way to end. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
We hope this episode has made the present perfect continuous less scary and more useful. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about communication.
Stay curious, stay confident, and keep learning with us.
See you next time on Learn English with Rose and Leo.